If I've got a relationship with Panasonic and I get the 4680 batteries, and I've got a relationship with Tesla so that I can use their charging system, two things. One, how do I make it so I can crank these fuel cells out faster? And I would go out for help. And the second thing is, I would go to Plasma Kinetics and buy them today. Why would I ever dream of trying to come up with my own system, which is going to take 3 years and $1 billion? Okay. When you make a mistake, you lick your wounds. If you want, you can have a good cry, and then you go and do what's right. And what's right for somebody like that would be get Elon on the phone. Toyota went down the path of hydrogen, and quite frankly, no one else did. They have the best fuel cell in the world. But the problem is they have to have a hydrogen charge periodically. So if I was in charge of Toyota, I would contact a company called Plasma Kinetic. They have just invented solid-state hydrogen fueling. So you get this little box, a couple of these little boxes. Inside is a disk. As you need hydrogen, a laser focuses down on that disk, and then hydrogen is released from the disk that goes to whatever you want. In this case, it would be the fuel cell. You could buy these disks at a grocery store. They don't blow up, they don't burn. They're hydride, they're solid. I was in China, and they showed me this new technology that came from Australia. And to me, it looked like a house brick. And they said, oh, it's got hydrogen in it. And they showed me that hydrogen came out, but I didn't know how it worked. Well, here's how it works. A laser beam goes on top of that disk. Hydrogen comes out. It goes through a little processing tube to a compressor, and then the compressor would put it into the fuel cell. All of a sudden, I don't care. I don't care if there's no hydrogen stations around, because you go to the dealership, buy a bunch of discs, put them in whenever you need, bring back the old ones, get a refund, and then they recharge them. And the best part is, the way they recharge them is by using sewer gas and things like that. Basically, it's doing two things. One, it's taking hydrogen out of the toxins that we're putting into the atmosphere. And two, it puts it onto this solid state disk. And three, you could replace these things on your own and make it work. So that would be phase one. And by the way, you still know they still have to have batteries, right? You still have to, when you have a fuel cell, you still have to have a battery to keep it going, or to get it going. Not a 12-volt battery, but a real, like a lithium-ion battery. I'm recommending it only because they've already got the world's best fuel cell. Nobody's got a fuel cell like that. It's like 1.3 volts per cell. That's fabulous. I really like that. I wanted to analyze that and reverse engineer it. I'm positive that they've got some bug in there that's holding up their production, and we've been very good at solving problems. If I was Toyota, I would look at two things. One, how do I make it so I can crank these fuel cells out faster? And I would go out for help. And the second thing is, I would go to Plasma Kinetics and buy them today. I mean, it's only a few million bucks to buy something like that. If they have it and they can start pumping this stuff out, they've just saved the company. It's a cheap insurance. When I first heard about it, it sounded like too good to be true. But I know now that there's two major truck companies that are looking at buying into Plasma Kinetics. And when that happens, or if that happens, Toyota's out. So this is like the GM Rivian deal where, you know, they wanted to negotiate and stuff like that. And Ford came in, here's the money. And suddenly it was Ford and Rivian, not GM. That's kind of like what Toyota would have to do in order to make that happen. But this is a technology I've never heard of. It was kept under wraps for 10 years by first the Obama administration and later by the Trump administration. And basically these guys want to get their technology into the marketplace, but they have no money. If I was in charge of Toyota and I had the best fuel cell on the planet, I'd be looking for a great way of making that happen, and I see no other alternative, no other option, except for that little company. The second move would be to do a deep benchmarking exercise on Tesla, the Tesla that I want to try and emulate. And quite frankly, we know that Tesla does some things remarkably well, and other things can be improved upon. So I would be looking at what can I improve upon by analyzing a Y or a 3 or an S or whatever they want to try and compete with, and that would be my starting point. At the end of the day, they may want to consider bringing in somebody to give them a hand. Phase 3, they are also they lead the world, I think, in hybrids. They've kind of backed away a little bit of that. I know that, or I heard just a little while ago that somebody wanted a Prius hybrid and couldn't get it. I don't know what causes that kind of a problem, but Toyota should try their best to flood the market with that type of a vehicle, because there's still people that like that kind of thing. I don't know what happened to them before things started to turn in an ugly direction, but I'm pretty sure that Tesla must have a bag of tricks or something up their sleeve that could help them out. As far as batteries are concerned, I think that they're going to have to either sweet talk Tesla into helping them out with the 4680s. They need to have somebody on their side. Panasonic's been allowed to sell the 4680. They can build them on their own. If I was Toyota, I would abandon ship on whatever I've got right now and move in that direction as quickly as I can, because that's the only way that you're going to have a situation where you're going to be able to move ahead quickly. I've been telling people lately, maybe if you buy a car, try and steer clear of something that's going to be like an ICE vehicle. I think in 8-9 years, it's going to be hard to give them away. A hybrid will have a longer life in the buying public. There'll be people who want a hybrid that might currently be in a gas vehicle or an ICE vehicle, but they're going to want to have that. But I know one thing for sure: Toyota needs help, and they need it in a hurry. They went to the government recently, and they talked to the government about their little problems, and they said that they need help, they need relief, because they can't get to the market fast enough, because things have changed, because of the buying climate, on and on and on. They asked for the government to help them out. That's not a Toyota that's a GM kind of thing. So why would they do something like that? Could it be that they were infected by MBA? I think they were. So they may want to go back to their roots, where there was engineers basically said we should go this way or that way, not MBAs. And I really truly feel that somehow they've lost their way a little bit, and they should go back to their roots. Personally, if I was a car company and I wanted to compete, I would ask for how much it costs to, like royalty-wise, to use the Tesla charging system. I can use anything, but if I had the correct socket so I could use Tesla all the time, I wouldn't use anything else. I've used Electrify America. I've used some of the smaller ones. I mean, some of the smaller ones are absolutely ridiculous. It'd take you a month to get your charge, the charge you'd need. It's stupid. It's like plugging into a 110 or something. I don't know what was wrong with it, but I'm standing there and there's nothing happening, and then after a half an hour, click, and it moves one digit. Oh, I have a real short fuse. I can't do that. Sometimes, you have to acknowledge, hey, this is the right way to go, and just go and do it. If it's going to be sold in America, that's the route I would take if I was in fact, I'd do it if I was Tesla or Ford, Toyota or Ford. I keep getting the Tesla and the Toyota screwed up, sorry. There was a war here in the United States a long time ago, the North versus the South. And the North won. The Americans bought a technology off of France. They didn't try and develop their own. They bought a technology called a mini ball. And the mini ball basically gave a lot better range and way better accuracy. The guys in the South tried to develop their own stuff. And I don't know if you heard, but the South lost. I'm a fan of looking at what happened in history and applying it to business. I don't want to wait. So if I've got a relationship with Panasonic and I get the 4680 batteries, and I've got a relationship with Tesla so that I can use their charging system, why would I ever dream of trying to come up with my own system, which is going to take 3 years and $1 billion? Because that's basically what it costs. Why would I want to develop not only the software that goes along with it, but all of the crap that goes inside on that board? I'm telling you, it's Silicon Valley, right? It's a great place, and I know that there's tons of people that can do it, but it takes time to get there. And then when you get there, somebody's going to look at your product, and they're going to tear it apart. And they're going to look deeply into how you've done what you did in order to get to where you got to. And you are inevitably going to trip over a patent. And when that happens, now you have your system, which may not work as good as the Tesla system, and you're going to have to pay Tesla anyway because you got a patent infringement. To me, this is so simple, it ain't even funny. When you make a mistake, you lick your wounds. If you want, you can have a good cry, and then you go and do what's right. And what's right for somebody like that would be get Elon on the phone. Many years ago, there were two companies that came together to create this new company called NUMMI. NUMMI was a combination of General Motors and Toyota. And General Motors transferred a lot of its build technology to Toyota, and Toyota shared some of its technology, not much, with General Motors. In the end, both companies got a little bit better in different ways, and then they parted their ways, and the NUMMI plant is now building Toyotas. I think history repeats itself continuously. Toyota's been very good in the past at making relationships with a competitor, and we even came up with a term. It was called co-opetition. Okay, we're competitors, but we both want to win, and how do we win together? And sometimes that's a good idea, and if I was Toyota, I would have a co-opetition arrangement with Elon Musk, and I don't know, this will probably go out in the evening, which will be the morning in Toyota time, and I think that, that maybe if they see this, it would be a good idea to try and contact Elon as quickly as possible, because he's in Germany right now, I think, with his new buildings. And when Elon wakes up, hi, Elon, hi, this is Mr. whomever from Toyota. Could we possibly have a little chat? And that could maybe make things happen.